Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Nurhan Magdi from As-Safa Azhari School. Now we start with theme 4 concept 1. We talk in this lesson about natural erosion. If a child builds a sand castle on the beach, he may notice disappearance of a part of it or all of it after few hours. Water and wind are some of the factors that transport small rocks from one place to another, forming a process known as erosion. Erosion of sand castle is due to transportation of rocks and sand particles from its place to another by the effect of water, and is considered as an example of natural erosion. Sand is formed by breaking down of some types of rocks into smaller particles. Forces of water and wind are responsible for the disappearance of sand castle and erosion of coasts. The Earth's surface is continuously changing, but this is changing classified into fast change and slow change. Fast change, they absorbed in sand castle, and it may completely disappear in a few minutes as a result of hitting by the sea of waves. Slow change, they absorbed in coastal rocks. There are many differences in its shape after many years if some parts break off. We can observe some similarities from previous picture. Both have steep needle-like parts. Both have sloping sides at the bottom. Water and wind create their shape. Canyons, they are deep valleys by flowing water. Canyons are formed due to the slow change that happened to its rocks over many years. Canyons are formed by action of water. Canyon has needle-like parts and slope at the side. Lesson 2. Shaping the Earth. The Earth's surface is changed by 3 processes. Number 1, weathering. Number 2, erosion. Number 3, deposition. Weathering. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks. Erosion is the transport rocks from one place to another. Deposition is rocks transport in new place or deposited in new place. What is the meaning of sediments? Could be sand, rocks or soil, and this depends on the environment which the process takes place. We have the difference between weather and weathering. Weather is the condition of atmosphere at a specific time and place. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks on Earth's surface into smaller or tiny pieces. Weather, there are many factors affecting weather, such as temperature, wind, rains. The condition of weather can help us to decide what to wear when we go outside. Weathering, there are many factors that cause weathering, such as wind and water. Weathering can change the shape of Earth's surface over time. You can see the effect of weathering in many observations around you, such as breaking of staves, removing of panes of building, pulling a wave to the sand of seashore. Colder climate and ice are another factor that can change the landscape. There are 2 types of weathering, which are chemical weathering and mechanical weathering. What is the meaning of mechanical weathering? Mechanical weathering is the breaking down of rocks due to the effect of wind, water, plant roots, and the temperature. The role of wind in mechanical weathering. Wind pushes the sand from a place to another. Friction occurs between sand and rocks, so rocks are broken down. Number 2, the role of water in mechanical weathering. Water runs over rocks Water dissolves some substance in rocks, so rocks are broken down, like this photo, like coastal rock. The role of plant roots in mechanical weathering. Plant roots grow inside the cracks of rocks. Plant roots grow inside the cracks of rocks. Rocks are broken down. After a period of time, rocks are broken down, like this photo. The role of temperature in mechanical weathering. Water flow into the tiny cracks of water like this. When the temperature gets very cold, water freezes, forming ice. That expands and makes the cracks of rocks become wider. When the temperature increases, the ice melts, so water fills newly formed wide cracks again. And this process is repeated. In the end of this cycle, the rocks are broken down, like this photo. Chemical weathering. What is the meaning of chemical weathering? Chemical weathering is the change of the structure of rocks due to the chemical reactions. Chemical weathering happens due to oxygen, water, acid rain, or acid produced by some living organism. Again, chemical weathering happens due to oxygen, water, acid rain, acid produced by some living organisms. Number 1, the role of oxygen is in chemical weathering. Oxygen of air reacts with iron of some rocks, forming red colored rust. This reaction can broken rocks and weaken rocks and break them down easily. Number 2, the role of water in chemical weathering. When water dissolves minerals in a rock, the dissolved minerals combine again, forming new shapes as in limestone caves. Number 3, the role of acid rain in chemical weathering. When the acid rain falls on rocks, it can dissolve minerals found in these rocks, causing the breakdown of rocks. Number 4, the role of living organisms in chemical weathering. Some tiny organisms called lichens produce acid on rocks that dissolve minerals found in these rocks and break them down, like this photo. Lesson 3, talk about landforms. Landform is formed by breaking rocks into smaller pieces with different shape of the same material. This process is similar to that happened to biscuits broken by hand, and this change is mechanical weathering. Landform is formed mechanically weathered over time. Scientists use models to recreate the weathering process to understand it better, because weathering takes a long time in real life, and the rocks weathering takes a long time in real life, and the rocks we can see have been weathered over hundreds of years. We make a comparison between mechanical weathering and chemical weathering and take the similarities and the differences between them. Mechanical weathering and the similarity between mechanical weathering and chemical weathering, both of them cause breaking down of rocks into smaller parts. The difference between mechanical weathering and chemical weathering cause changing of the structure of rocks without any change in their nature. Chemical weathering cause changing of the structure of rocks, producing new material. Mechanical weathering not produce new material, but chemical weathering producing new material. Mechanical weathering only breaking down rocks into smaller pieces, but not happen any change in the rock, or not producing new material. Chemical weathering produce new material and make a change in the rock structure. Lesson 4, talk about erosion. What the meaning of erosion? Erosion is the process in which the small particles of sand, soil and rocks are moved to other places by wind, water and gravity. The small particles of sand, soil and rocks are called sediments. Sediments are moved by wind and water and settles on the surface of land or the bottom of water bodies such as lakes and seas. You can see the evidence left by erosion after hundreds, thousands or millions of years from its occurrence. Action of wind erosion. We have gentle wind and stronger wind, and take the difference between gentle wind and stronger wind. Gentle wind, it may carry sand grains for a short distance, about 1 meter. Stronger wind, like hurricanes, carry them for a longer distance. Action of water erosion. River and floods carry sand, soil and rocks downstream. Sea waves pull sand away from beach. Rain washes away the soil of farms that locate beside downhill. Action of gravity erosion. The broken weathered rocks in a mountain can be pulled down at mountain's side by the effect of gravity. Now we talk about deposition. What's the meaning of the deposition? It's the process of flying down of sediments after its erosion. In deposition, the next process of erosion. Action of water in deposition. Running water in rivers play an important role in deposition process, such as a river can deposit a sand bar along its bank sides. When a river carries sediments meet a sea, these sediments are deposited there forming a delta such as Nile Delta, and is shown in this picture. Delta is a fan-shaped or triangle-shaped mass of mud and other sediments that forms where a river enters a large body of water. Action of wind deposition. Weak wind and strong wind. We have weak wind and strong wind, and take the difference between them. The difference between weak wind, they can form small sand dunes like sand dunes on a beach. Strong wind, they can form a large sand dunes like sand dunes in western desert in Egypt. Lesson 5. We talk about weathering, erosion and deposition. Weathering, it is caused when wind or water breaks down rocks, or the shape of landform is changed by mechanical or chemical weathering. Erosion, it is caused when wind or water moves material from one place to another. Deposition, it occurs when eroded materials stop moving and settle on a surface, often forming layers over time. By the action of this process, weathering, erosion and deposition, in order we can observe change in the Earth's surface, such as sand dunes and delta. Sand dunes, which are small hills of sand found in a desert or on top of a beach. Delta, which is a piece of land shaped like a triangle that is formed when a river enters a large body of water such as sea or ocean, like Nile Delta. Now we finish concept 1 from theme 4. Thank you for listening.